Hello everyone and welcome to another very nice game from round 7 of this year's Norway chess. We are in the second half of the tournament and it is Praggnanandhaa versus Liren. Prague lost to Ding in the first half of the tournament in Armageddon, and this time they also go into Armageddon. So this is just a glimpse of what happened in the classical time control. Ding was playing black here. As you can see, he's up on the clock. He has almost an hour, and Prague was down to 26 minutes. And here, queen to h3 was played by Prague. Sorry about that. Which is a bad move. Objectively, it's losing, and Ding has to play bishop h5 in order to claim the winning advantage. Point is that now the queen is stuck here. You don't have queen g4, the knight covers these two squares, the pawn covers these two squares, so the queen will be stuck here, and you have all the time in the world to prepare your attack. You can go after the f2 pawn. The f2 pawn is very weak. Many winning opportunities here. But Ding just went back bishop to f7. He even spent some 5 minutes on this move, and then Prague played bishop to e2, Ding played bishop to e6, and he was in this position on move 30 that they agreed to a draw. So Ding obviously very happy to stop the bleed. He takes the draw with the black pieces, and now we head into Armageddon. And sorry about that, you've seen nothing. And Ding's been in a bit of a slump lately, and he's not... I mean, he's playing great moves. He plays like 30 engine-precise moves, and then he just blunders the game away. And it can be easy to take away from someone's victory because someone's in a bad place at the moment. But what Prague found in this game is nothing short of spectacular. So I will give you a chance, for those of you who haven't seen the game, to solve a very nice pause the video moment. Let's see what happened in Armageddon. So Prague with white opens with pawn to d4. We have knight f6, bishop to g5, the Trompovsky attack, and pawn to d5. We have pawn to e3, pawn to c6, c5, and now bishop captures on f6. We have g captures and bishop to b5 check. Prague just trying to trade off all of the bishops, playing like your uncle would. Bishop to d7, bishop captures, knight captures, and now knight to e2. We have pawn to e6 and castles kingside by Prague. So Prague spending very little time here. Obviously, this is something that he prepared. It's not the best of lines, but for Armageddon, where you have to win with white, could be done. C captures on d4 is a known move here. Bogdan Daniel Dak played it against Richard Rapport last year in the Superbet Classic tournament, but here we have queen to c7 by Ding, and it is now as of move 8 that we have a completely new game. So okay, knight to d2, bishop to d6, putting pressure on Prague's h2 pawn, pawn to h3, and c captures on d4. We have knight captures on d4 and pawn to a6, taking away the b5 square from the knight. Queen to h5, now Prague with the preparing the tricky knight captures on e6 as the f7 pawn is pinned, and Ding just castles kingside. Looks a little bit dangerous because the g file is opened up, but Prague traded both of his bishops, so you don't really have to worry. Unless this knight can come to g5 or f6, should be okay. So okay, pawn to c3 and king to h8. Ding says, I have the semi-open g file. I'm going to put both of my rooks here, and with the queen bishop battery here, it's going to be a devastating attack. Rook a to d1, we have pawn to f5, and now knight 2 to f3. We have knight to f6 attacking the queen, and queen to h6 threatening to capture the knight. We have queen to e7, and now pawn to c4. And here with knight to g8, Ding's chances are excellent this game. First, you kick away the queen, and then you proceed with everything else. But he played d captures on c4, and now Prague went knight to g5. Interestingly, the only good move for Prague here is the one he doesn't play, but it's Armageddon. I mean, what are you going to do? Knight to c6 is the move. Looks weird because you're just giving up your knight, but point is that now you want to give up your rook with rook captures on d6, and there's nothing better than to capture here. Okay, you could throw in a c3, but captures and now queen captures will result in a perpetual. The problem is a perpetual here would be a win for Ding because a draw in Armageddon is like a victory for black. So Prague has to go for the attack. Knight to g5, and now rook a to d8. Rook to g8 is the by far the best, and I will show it because it's a beautiful line. Again, you might be thinking, is a knight to c6 just the same here? Well, no, it's not, because now if knight to c6, then you can capture it, and after rook captures on d6, and there's rook to g6. Here it seems like, okay, if you capture knight captures on f7 is a checkmate, but first you throw in a rook g6. You attack the queen, and after the queen moves, still you can't capture due to knight f7, but you have time for h6. And there's really nothing better here than to well, you could improve with something like rook f to d1 and give up the knight this way, but maybe just give it up for the f7 pawn. Captures, rook f to d1, and white sort of has the attack, but the extra knight, I mean, black is much better here. So that's why rook 8 to d8 and rook to d2 now. Pragg now wants to double up on the d file. Rook to g8 by Ding and rook f to d1. We have rook to g6, kicking away Pragg's queen, queen to h4, and now, well, there is a winning move here, but it's a very tricky one to find. The move is actually bishop to b4. And okay, with 4.5 minutes on the clock, it's not a move that Ding shouldn't be able to find. You just kick away the rook from being doubled up here, and once the rook moves, you play e5. I mean, this is game over. There's really no move here to play. But okay, in the game after queen to h4, rook d to g8 was played. Looks also devastating. You put pressure on the knight moves, you capture on g2. Seems like it's game over, but what Pragg found here, like I said, is nothing short of spectacular. So feel free to pause the video here and try to find the only move that wins for Pragg while I give you a couple of seconds. So for those of you who were able to do it, congratulations on not going for anything slow like pawn to f4. And for those of you who just want to enjoy the show, it is not, I'm only kidding, it is knight d to f3. This is what Pragg played, and now Ding realizes the horror of what he's done again, as the knight is defended and also the bishop is hanging. And your biggest problem here is that you cannot move the bishop. Remember, what's the one thing stopping checkmate? It's the knight on f6. So if the bishop moves, rook to d7. You can't move the knight, otherwise it's checkmate. So you can move the queen, okay, that works, but now comes knight captures on f7 check, and after king to g7, you repeat a discovery here, you sacrifice the exchange, and after knight captures, the other rook joins the attack, and after king to f8, you will play knight captures on g6 with check. And you can't capture with the queen. If you capture with the queen, a queen to e7 is checkmate, and if you capture with the pawn, it's not much better, just queen to f6 with check. You have to give up the queen, and this is checkmate. So what's the other option? The third option is rook captures, but now queen captures on h7, and again, no defense against queen to h8 check. Whatever you play, queen to h8 check, rook will block, you go queen to h6 with check, rook has to block only move, and now queen captures will be checkmate. So that's the problem here after Pragg's knight move, that you just can't move the bishop. And if you can't move the bishop, that means you have to play something else. And there really isn't, yeah, I mean, there isn't even a move to consider here. Rook captures on d6. Here, after this knight to f3 move, h6 was played, but it doesn't really matter. Just rook captures on d6, and he was in this position on move 23 that Liren resigned the game, as there is nothing more to be done here. So it's not like he played poorly, he played well in classical. He was winning in classical and in Armageddon. He just drew the classical and lost the Armageddon. So very, very nice victory for Pragg. And like I said, because Ding's been in a bit of a weird place lately, it's easy to take away such a beautiful victory for Pragg, but make no mistake, this is a beautiful, beautiful victory, and Ding played this game very, very well. And okay, why do you resign? Well, you're down a piece, and if you capture here with the idea of recapturing on the next move, it doesn't matter because knight captures, and now if you play rook captures, queen captures on h6 with check, and after the knight moves, there's a rook to d7. And okay, looks like maybe you're surviving, but look at this, queen to f6, queen captures on f6, knight captures, and rook captures on f7. You're down a pawn, you're down the exchange, completely winning for Pragg. And also there's another killer line here that you could throw in, a knight d5. You say, all right, let's disconnect your rooks, I'm gonna capture your rook on the next move, but there is rook captures on rook 1 captures on d5, and after e captures, now look at this, knight captures on f7, opens up a discovery on the black queen. So now the black queen has to capture the knight, and once the knight is captured, there's knight to e5. It seems like you're up material even as black here, but knight e5, and you just collect everything nicely here. The queen has to move, you will capture here with check. Whatever happens, if you capture with the queen, then just rook captures queen, and if you capture with the rook, then this wonderful rook to d8 move captures the black queen. So I mean, it's hard to say how much of this Pragg saw, but knight d to f3 was the only move for him. He found it, and there was nothing more for Ding to try here. Rook captures on d6, Ding resigns, and another beautiful victory for for Praggnanandhaa. And what does this mean for our standings? Let me just make this a little bit smaller. So Hikaru comes to an inch of catching up to Magnus Carlsen. He's on 12.5 points. Magnus is still leading with 13 points. Praggnanandhaa now with 11 points after defeating Ding Liren. Alireza with 9.5, Fabiano with 7.5, and Ding on 3.5. So, okay, second half of the tournament only just started, so anything can still happen. But for the moment, you have a pretty clear idea of, well, what's probably going to happen. So yeah, that's the game. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Beautiful move by Pragg and the entire game as well. I would like to thank Richard Nickerson, Ivan Sterling, Michael Bowers, Eric Lee, and Timothy Larkin for your contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot. I really appreciate it. As usual, you can check 2 of my previous videos here. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you soon, continuing to check upon your wonderful suggestions, but mostly covering Norway chess until it finishes. So thank you all. I will see you soon, and have an excellent rest of your day.